Panago Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
Steve.
Yesy?
Adam Wilde.
Abandon us.
He's in Arizona.
He is. What? Sedona?
Sedona, Arizona.
Sedona.
Yes. Home of
Rocks.
the Grand Canyon.
The Grand... Yeah.
You have a little sweat on the top of your lip.
Is that what that is? It's not. It's obviously not sweat. I drank out of
it was glistening.
Imagine how much I'd have to be sweating to have upper lip sweat. It's just water.
I thought,
What?
knowing you and your cultural background, that you had a little Italian sweat
Really?
on your upper lip.
See, that's Greece. And that's also profiling. And I don't appreciate it, frankly, and it's also accurate. So fine.
We were like 30 seconds in and we already got off track.
I know. This is very no parents, no rules episode.
But to combat that, I have something for you. But after we explain that Adam Wilde is not here again, he is on vacation. He's on his honeymoon in Sedona with his lovely wife now, Caprice.
Wife.
That's weird to say. I was about to say fiance, and then I was like, oh, wife.
It's a very, it's a powerful word, wife.
Mhm.
You know?
It means forever, and that's a mighty long time.
Don't talk to my girlfriend like that. Hey, that's my fiance. Watch your tone. Hey, don't talk like that to my wife.
Ooh.
Wife, right?
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah. So, we have something a little different today.
I'm excited.
Are you excited?
Because I know nothing. I come in not knowing what the prep is, but I've never come in blind Jesse prep.
No, the last time we did the solo, but I tried to keep it as a... Sorry, I'm spinning beet chips everywhere. I tried to keep it as a regular episode last time, but this time, fuck that.
No, it's got to be its own thing.
But yeah, today is its own thing.
Play to your strengths.
And I think this show, the Steve Dangle Podcast, presented by Panago Pizza, starring Steve Dangle,
It's what's on the inside that counts.
doesn't have enough Steve Dangle.
Really?
Yes.
How could it have more?
Today, you are the focus, Steve.
I'm the focus.
I have prepared a list of questions.
Oh, dear.
All
Okay.
I'm going to do is read off a tweet, a comment, a piece of an article, and then I also wrote down the question related to that piece of information.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to let you go, and then whenever you're done, ring me back, and I'll bring up the next topic.
You're not going to have any snark?
I will.
No face?
I will, because I can't help myself.
There you
because
go. Okay,
I know
good.
me.
Good.
And okay.
Good.
But if you're down, I would like to do the Steve Dangle episode of the Steve Dangle Podcast.
Wow, what a concept.
I know. So are we good
Adam's
to go?
so good at what he does. Like, I was watching the last episode with Chris,
Yeah.
and I was just like, what does almost every guest who joins our show say? I thought this was the Steve Dangle podcast. Because Adam is just wham, 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 just attacking him with questions.
You know,
And it's not because he's rude. It's because, like, he comes up with them quicker than I do.
it's weird. It's kind of like he does that for a living
Little
and has
bit.
been doing it for 11 years.
Yeah.
So, like, you shouldn't feel bad about it because your job is to yell into a camera and his job is to talk to another person.
No one else in the room. One request I've been getting. It's our Reddit page is wonderful. Like, it's full of people who like love the show but actually like care. And you know, I've been like, woe is me a little bit lately. I've been better lately, but like a month ago, I was like, oh, I want to try new things with the channel. And one thing that's come up time and time again is, do like a live stream of you recording an LFR, or like just upload all the footage, upload all the bloopers. You have no idea how terrible that would be. It's literally just me stumbling over words. There's nothing funny about it.
You should never see how the sausage is made.
No.
That's what I always think whenever everybody's always said, oh, you should do a live version of this podcast. No, not really. No, like we could.
That's
but
more realistic than live LFRs.
It is, but
If there's a notable blooper, I show it to you.
yeah.
I tweet it out. Sometimes I put it at the end of the video. But no, it'd be terrible. You genuinely like the videos less.
No, 100%.
If you ever saw.
You don't want to
it wouldn't be
know
good.
the crap that's going into making the sausage.
But the point I was going to make there is there have been a couple times recently where like my mouth was not keeping up with my brain, and I was just like, God, where would I be without jump cuts? What would I ever do without them? I'd be so screwed.
Invent jump cuts. Anyways, you good to get started?
I'm good to get started here. Hey.
All right. Steve is chugging coffee right now.
Coffee. Well, let's go. 7:30 at night. This won't have repercussions at all.
This tweet is from February 5th, 2018 at 9:55 p.m. It says, from Steve Dangle, believe it or not, that was Kapanen's first career assist in his 29th NHL game, or 35th game if you include playoffs. The question I wrote, why did you tweet that Kapanen is awful and should be sent down?
It's funny. I got a lot of those tweets from, not many from Leaf fans. A few were a little confused as to why I tweeted that. You know who I got lip from? Penguins fans. Because they're feeling very good. Because their team is rather secure in the playoff picture for like the first time this season, kind of. And also Phil Kessel, last I checked, was second in NHL scoring. And the guy the primary piece that they traded Phil Kessel for, Kasperi Kapanen, it took him 29 or 35 games, depending on how you split those hairs, to get an assist. He must stink. He must not be very good. I merely tweeted that out because I thought it was interesting. Oh, that's kind of weird. Now, it'd be a lot more concerning if it was his first point. But it's not his first point, is it? He scored 2 goals in a playoff game last year. He scored previously this season a few times. I think he got the first goal of the game once. The guy can score goals. The problem is he is on the offensive death trap that is the fourth line of the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you want to get an idea, so the right wing of the Leafs' fourth line has actually had some great players on it, especially this season. Mitch Marner, William Nylander, Connor Brown, and now Kasperi Kapanen. Those are all great players. But you'll notice the guy who has spent the most time on the fourth line out of that bunch, I think it's Connor Brown. Last night, his assist on Zach Hyman's empty net goal was his 8th assist of the season, which means he went into last night's game with 7.
Is that not enough for Connor Brown?
It's a little bit not enough for Connor Brown. And the thing is, look who he's played with. Dominic Moore, Freddie Gauthier, and Matt Martin. Primarily. Like, that line has been useless offensively. Lately, it's gotten better, but not much. So, I wasn't going to make that point until people kind of made me make that point. I wasn't saying Kapanen was bad. I wasn't even saying the fourth line was bad. But now that you mention it, and now that you go, well, how come? That's how come. The Leafs' fourth line has been just a death sentence offensively. It's been brutal. But I have a solution. And I don't know if this is later on or what.
Yeah, you might be jumping on the question. Well, go ahead.
Are you going? When's Josh Levo? When's Josh Levo stuff?
It's in there.
It's in there?
It's in there.
I will say this, and we can hold on to it for later.
Yeah, we can go back. You can mention it now, and then we'll come back to it.
A simple solution to a bunch of problems, well, 2 problems that the Leafs have. Your fourth line, Josh Levo on the left, Leo Komarov at center, Kapanen on the right. Everyone's happy.
Matt Martin's not happy.
Most people are happy. The people that I want happy the most are happy.
I think it's important to keep Matt Martin happy to some extent because he is signed to a $10 million deal.
In my opinion, he is signed to a $3-something million deal because he's got 2.5 next year and the remainder of this year. No, was last year his first year?
Yes.
All right, so yeah, never mind. He's got two full years at 2.5, so he's got over 5. Never mind. But they should be doing everything in their power to trade him, in my opinion. What is obvious now is What is obvious now is what has been obvious to Leafs fans for a while is that he is not needed on this team. There are too many good wingers to go around. They're just sitting on Andreas Janssen, like just ready to unleash that beast. And Josh Levo is not even playing. His last game was in 2017. It was last year.
It's true.
He has not
That's a
played
fact.
this year.
This calendar year.
He hasn't played in almost 2 months, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad.
It is bad.
Yeah.
Second comment. It's 2 of like 20. So
Jesus.
let's get through this.
Okay.
Tweet from Steve Dangle, 9:15 p.m.
This guy
February
tweets a
5th,
lot. Okay.
2018. I know, right? Guy, did you know the pick that Raquel was drafted with was and then it was cut off, and then it says me, drops kick guy in the chest. The question from that is, Steve, what are you referring to? What is this Raquel draft pick?
Did you not know about that?
No, that's why I'm asking.
Well, Jesse, let me tell you something.
And the listening audience.
Yes, that's right. The 2011 NHL entry draft. The Leafs traded up because they really wanted a certain player. And I believe that player was picked, I want to say 22nd overall. Big man, tall, heavy, American forward, going to university by the name of Tyler Biggs. In order to get that draft
Did you
pick,
say he's a big guy?
he's a Biggs guy.
that Biggs guy. Yeah.
You see?
All right.
He could reach the sky. See, that would be so much better if Skyler wasn't already a name.
You really tied that one together.
Oh, I missed that one Biggs time.
Nope.
All right, fair
All
enough.
right.
So the Leafs traded up to get Tyler Biggs, and I believe they traded with the Ducks to get Tyler Biggs. The first round pick that the Leafs traded to the Ducks, the last pick of the first round that year, ended up being Rickard Rakell of the Anaheim Ducks, who currently has 21 goals, scored 2 against the Leafs yesterday. And to make you feel worse, the second rounder that the Leafs also sent the Ducks in that deal in order to trade up, the Ducks drafted some kid named John Gibson.
Damn.
That's
not bad.
Yeah. I also believe, I got to look this up. I think the Leafs traded like a 7th rounder to the Ducks like a few years ago, and that's Andre Kasha, who also scored against the Leafs yesterday. And there's another first rounder who I believe was the first round pick the Leafs gave the Ducks for Freddie, and that's Sam Steele, who I think was on the World Junior team, and he's going to be a monster as well. So remember how I used to talk about the Leafs essentially built the Blackhawks? New team, the Ducks. They essentially built the Ducks.
That's a much better story.
Oh, and Randy Carlisle.
Oh.
And Francois Beauchemin. Deep cut. Not really. And is Holzer still a Duck? I think he is.
Corbinian?
I'm pretty sure. Holsa. Corbinian Holsa. He was part of
currently playing for the Anaheim Ducks.
There you go.
There you go.
He was part of the Marlies German contingent a few years ago with Marcel Mueller.
Is that a thing?
Briefly.
All right.
Not for long.
Next question. After a couple of these, I'm just going to ask, what did you think of the game last night? Just for anybody wondering, we are going to talk about the game last night. Also, it's in the description, so I don't know why you would be asking.
And other things. Yeah. Like, Jesse, I feel like that takes a while to do.
Takes a couple of minutes.
But, like, it's nice. It's nice that you do that.
Yeah, it's good because it's no longer, you're not required to be like, hey, here's what's coming up on the show. It's, you have the show in front of you, and that's the advantage of the digital medium.
If you decide we're being boring,
exactly,
you can skip ahead to the not boring.
Skip ahead to whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
It's your phone. It's your laptop. You're sitting in front of it.
It's your life.
It's your life. Live it. I feel like that's a terrible Pepsi commercial or something.
Tide Pods. It's your life. Live it.
I'm not going to use Tide Pods.
Yeah.
So this seems good.
Oh.
And then you quoted a tweet from Todd Crocker. It says, Garrett Sparks is now 18-6-0-1 with a 1.62 GAA, a 9.44 save percentage, and is 4 wins away from being the Marlies' all-time leader in wins. He has 67. Justin Pogge has 71. Sparks has played 104 games. Pogge played 142. Now, my question for that is, the Leafs clearly have a surplus of great goaltending. Good to great goaltending. What do they do?
So this is the funny thing. All I've ever read on Twitter, especially this season, is the Leafs don't have a crazy depth in goaltending, which is hilarious to me. At worst, they're average. Okay,
At what level? Because Freddie is right now playing as a top 10 goalie in the NHL.
He's a top half goalie at worst.
Their backup is a top half backup from the way he's won games, at least.
Exactly.
Not his play, but every time he's out there, he wins. And then their AHL goaltending is the best AHL goaltending ever. So,
I mean, maybe.
Explain your point.
The Jets is very good too. Well, so McElhinney, I assume, is most people's hesitation. But like you saw last night, I mean, okay, he allowed 1 goal and it sucked, but that was the only goal he allowed. Look, I was a McElhinney detractor, and the second the Leafs got Pickard, I was like, well, that's that done. And now all of a sudden he's number 4 on the depth chart, like pretty clearly, I think. And if Sparks is not the next guy you call up, you have to trade him. You have to, in my opinion. Otherwise, what are you doing? Why? Why do you have this man if you're not going to play him and he's clearly the better one? I guess you don't think he's the better one. But anyway, sorry. So I know I'm getting off the tracks and I forget where we started here.
It's just, what do you do with the Leafs' goaltending depth?
So wait, I did want to get to one more thing there.
Okay,
so what did Crocker say about Pogge there?
So Pogge did it in 71 games, and Sparks is at 67.
So here's the thing about Justin Pogge.
No, Pogge had 71 wins and played in 142 games. Sparks is 104 games, which is crazy.
Right. So here's Pogge's stats as a Toronto Marley / Maple Leaf. So here are his save percentages, okay? His first season as a Marley, he was an .896 save percentage. His second season, he was a .908. His third season, he was an .895. And in the 7 games he played with the Leafs, first and only career win, I remember watching live at the Justin Fisher's house.
Wow.
He won it against the Atlanta Thrashers, but in those 7 games he played, he was an .844 goalie. So
844?
844. He was not very good. Brian Burke called him up to be like, all right, show me what you got. And the answer was not much. But even in the 3 years that he played with the Marlies, he wasn't great. But the Marlies teams were decent enough that they got him the wins. Sparks is crazy. He's so good. 944 is like what a goalie who plays like 5 games over the first 2 months as a backup post by fluke.
Yeah.
He's doing this as like he's starting the majority of the games, especially because Pickard's been called up a couple times. He's ridiculous. He's so good. So what do you do if Freddie's hurt? You call up Sparks, in my opinion. But what was the other one? Should you trade one?
Yeah, like how do you control this depth? Do you use Sparks' great season to get something back that you can use at the NHL level?
I mean, the guy you trade to me is Pickard, because you're paying him $1 million to be your like 1B in the minors, which doesn't seem very smart. But now you got 4 goalies I would say you could use. For the first time with him as a Leaf, I trust McElhinney in net. But if something, let's say something happens to Freddie, like it often does in the playoffs, he gets hurt in game 1 of a series, McElhinney plays game 2, stinks. You can throw in one of Sparks or Pickard. And if Sparks really stinks, you go to Pickard game 4. I don't know what to, I mean,
you don't need 4. You need 3, maybe.
Well, the thing, I think next year, and this ties into Levo, I think next year, McElhinney probably takes a back seat and maybe goes to the minors or maybe gets dealt. Like, he's played good enough that you could trade him. I think losing him to waivers would be silly. Mm-hmm. He's good enough. and Sparks or Pickard is the heir apparent, I would assume. And the writing is on the wall for that to happen. So I think a smart agent would tell them to be as patient as they could be. I don't know if their contracts expire or not. But for Levo,
McElhaney is signed through 2019, so next season.
Yes.
And then, where is Shaw?
I wish the goalies were at the bottom, for the cap-friendly
Calvin
depth chart.
Picard is a RFA at the end of this year.
So he still leaves property, really.
And Sparks is signed through 2019, so next year. But then after that, he's still an RFA. That's how
And
young he
his
is.
contract switches to a one-way deal next year.
Oh, does it?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
That's the way he signed it. So something's got to give there, obviously. So if I were them, I'd be patient. The thing with Levo is, I don't know, the plan seems to be they eventually lose JVR. They're going to lose two wingers, it sounds like, JVR and Komarov, unless they don't. And then you bring in Levo, and Levo's a great, insurance option. But, I mean, they're not freaking playing him.
All right.
It's kind of insane that they're expecting him to not play. And also, what's the expectation? That he'll be good when he comes back? The guy's not playing. You ever not done something for a month and a half and then returned to it and been good?
So this is the tweet from Friedge, HNIC, Elliot Friedman. 11:23 a.m., February 5th, 2018. Josh
What happened
Levo.
that day? My goodness, Don Cherry's birthday. Packed.
My preference is to play for the Maple Leafs, but I want to play. In brackets, in case you missed it, Real Kipper reported Saturday that Levo asked for a trade. And my question is, how disappointing is it that we've reached this point with Josh Levo? Are you disappointed in the organization for letting another player become unhappy?
Yes. And to me, this doesn't quite seem like a Frank Corrado situation. Frank Corrado, it's very obvious Babcock never wanted. Whereas Levo, it seems Babcock does like him. And they re-signed him mid-season. Mid-season, they re-signed him. And Babcock said, that's a player we like. If that guy is in your plans, isn't it to your benefit to use this player? And it's like I was saying, it seems very obvious. Levo, Komarov, Kapanen solves two issues. Done. Solves them. And it's a win-win. If Levo's great, great. If he sucks, well, then you don't have a player there and you can get rid of him. But I think there's a reason this is breaking now. Kapanen gets called up, steals Matt Martin's spot in the lineup, which is a spot that Levo couldn't even steal. Mm-hmm. How is Levo ever going to make this team? Is the answer next year? Is the next game Josh Levo plays an exhibition game in September? That's insane. I think Babcock wants to win every game, and to win every game, he wants to ice the best lineup possible. Fine. I'm not going to blame him for that. But be reasonable. Is it not reasonable to have a guy you like in a grueling league like this play 2 or 3 games a month? Even that? Like, could you not have Levo hit 20, 25 games? I don't understand. I'm disappointed because there seems to be a lack of reason here. Now, the one thing I'm disappointed about on Levo's end, I get the impression he's regretful that this came out. Because all I've ever heard is he really likes being a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he was certain to really emphasize that as soon as this report came out. I love Toronto. I want to be elite. He does, and he's got friends on this team. I think he's a little embarrassed that this came out. He and/or his agent should have got out ahead of this instead of leaking it to the media. Because, I mean, the way Kipper reported it sounded an awful lot like a trade request.
Like a demand. Yeah.
Yeah, and the way Levo is spinning it, right, truthfully or not, I don't know, is no, it wasn't a trade demand. It was a conditional trade demand. Mm-hmm. Play me or trade me.
But like if you play me, I'll still stick around. Everything's cool.
which is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
The other thing I can't decide was
No, do you think?
okay. Well, the one thing I can't decide if this is the right move or not, because part of me respects it and the other part of me is like, you're kind of dumb, is they asked if he would report to the Marlies for a conditioning stint, and he said no.
Yeah. That's not a reasonable request.
You know, okay, the truest of soldiers would take that. But, like, that's not your lapdog, man. Like, I get it. You expect everyone to fall in line, but is that reasonable? Is it reasonable to ask Josh Levo to report to the minors? The one thing I didn't like that he said was, I've played enough games in the AHL.
I didn't fault him for that at all. I don't fault him for anything in this situation.
No, I don't like how it sounds. That's the only thing. He's not wrong.
No.
I just don't like the way it sounds. Yeah, be reasonable. Like, you've had no problems scratching Matt Martin and hurting his feelings. You left Dominic Moore out of the friggin' home opener, you know, and he's been scratched at different points during the season. You said over and over again we didn't get Marleau to be center, and then you played him at center because you were clearly unhappy with your center situation. Like, why? And then you let this kid get passed by Kapanen. Who, by the way, that's the right move. Kapanen's better. But I just don't understand how come never. Like, even in back-to-back situations, the Leafs have been really reluctant to do that, and I don't understand.
So, do you have any ideas of why? Like, you don't understand, but do you have any guesses as to why? Because they're doing it, so there must be a reason.
Yeah, Babcock's stubborn.
Yeah?
He's stubborn. Well, and there must be... You know how Marleau has said he doesn't want to play center? Or whatever the Leafs organization? I wonder if Komarov has said, I don't want to play center. That's the only reason. It's the logical thing to do. So, this is what I said in my video today. So, having Moore there, what do you assume Dominic Moore's role is, Jesse?
Fourth line center?
Yeah, but special teams.
On, like, PK?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Penalty killer.
He's there to get the puck out of the zone and play defense.
But what does he do when a shift starts? Where is he? Where does he start his shifts on the penalty kill?
On defensive center? Like, what do you mean? What do you refer
What
to?
is he expected to do? When the ref has the puck in his hands, what is Dominic Moore expected to do?
Win the face-off.
Exactly.
Okay.
How's Dominic Moore supposed to win a face-off on the penalty kill when he's not on the penalty kill? The last 4 games, he has played 7 seconds on the penalty kill.
Oh,
and
wow.
all 7 of those seconds came 4 games ago. So they're not even using him. They're using him as 5-on-5 fourth-line center for 8 minutes a game.
Which is a complete waste of his skill.
Yes. Yeah. And you're having Komarov, as unless I'm missing something, take like every penalty kill face-off.
Yeah.
Your penalty killing forwards are exclusively Komarov, Brown, Hyman, and Kapanen since Kapanen got called up. And Marleau gets like a little sniff every now and then, like just to end the penalty kill. That's about it. Logically, surely, you put Komarov at fourth line center. You don't trust him to play fourth line center 8 minutes a game. That's it. And then, I don't know, because he's on the fourth line. What's the problem?
Okay,
he's there now.
We're losing the plot of Josh Levo.
Right. Well, no, but putting Komarov there allows you to easily insert Josh Levo into the lineup.
Okay, there's a solution. What do you think Babcock does? That's what Steve Dangle would do. But what do you think Mike Babcock does?
I don't see him changing much.
So Josh Levo's gone by the trade deadline.
I see the Leafs needlessly spending something to get another center. That's what I see them doing.
And needlessly spending something is Josh Levo.
No, well, potentially, it could be, but I mean like a second for Brian Boyle like last year. Now,
with Josh Levo.
Yeah. Well,
I'm going to keep shoving this point.
Well, yeah, but I don't think you're going to get someone for Josh Levo. Maybe. And it's not going to be a good someone.
Is he here, after March, what is it, February?
No, it's in February. I want to say 26th.
Is he here on February 27th?
Yes.
Yes?
I think he is. It sucks. I want Levo to stick around, and I want Sosh to stick around too. And I think Babcock really likes Sosh. And I think he likes him more than Levo, to be honest. Again, penalty killer, good player, works hard, blah, blah, blah. He's got Mikhail Grabovski syndrome. He skates brain first in every situation.
If we could just hold this thing together until next September, we'd be good. Because then Komarov would be gone, JVR would be gone, and there'd be a whole bunch of roster spots open.
Yeah, but then you got a guy like Sosh he's got a career to uphold, and he's played 20 games this year or whatever. And Levo has played less than that.
Yeah.
I agree. Wouldn't it be wonderful for the Leafs if everyone just shut up?
But
and did what they're told.
Not
but
the way reality works.
Yeah, like Levo's got a career to worry about. Like, I don't think he wants to. Like, what do we really think is going to happen next year? So next year he signed to a $925 deal, and then what? Like the Leafs decide, oh, he's kind of old and he's not really worth much anymore, so they don't sign him. No other NHL team has seen him play in the last 2 years, so they don't sign him either. So he's got to go to Europe or the AHL. No, this guy wants his NHL dream to stay alive, and the only way he's going to prove he's an NHL quality player is to play in the NHL. He's on an NHL roster. He has been for 2 years.
That's why you can't fault him for anything he said.
No, but wouldn't it be wonderful if you could just keep everyone in there happy? Like, that is the one factor that doesn't get weighed in enough. Like, I think very often when you see a stupid decision, there's something behind it, and it's usually an ego. It's maybe the coach's ego, maybe the manager's ego, or the player's ego. And like, I don't think this is egotistical, but it is people management.
It's his life and his dream, like you said, and he wants to keep it going, and they're not playing him, and it's not fair. Life's not fair, but this really isn't fair.
I don't know if I would say fair. It's like you said, like, it's life's not fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is, like, it just seems to be the better idea. Regardless of his happiness, it seems like the better idea to have him play every now and then.
Yeah.
You play more back-to-backs than anyone, and you never use him in the second half. Why? Don't you want your freshest lineup out there? Why not? Why not?
But then again, why would you ever play Polak on an NHL roster?
Man, like, especially the first half of the season, Polak was so busted up.
Yeah.
And, like, it was clear his skating wasn't that great. Like, I didn't understand why more back-to-backs weren't split with him and Carrick or him and whatever. I don't care. I don't even care.
Babcock seems to like to do these things, and I don't think anybody's changing his mind.
Stubborn coach. And yet the Leafs have won 4 of their last 5. No, 5 of their last 6. I believe they had the 4-game winning streak, got killed by Boston, and then they beat the Ducks.
Yeah. And then we'll be at the game tomorrow in Nashville.
That is right.
So,
with
game
our
last
noses
night.
A bloody.
Game last night.
Yes.
Let's get into it. I think we're like half an hour in, so it's about time. What'd you think? That's about it.
Oh, stupid fun.
Yeah, they played like it was the 80s.
The game that defense forgot. Well, in the first period, the shots were 16 to 15. There were 31 shots in the first period, but only 1 goal, so we didn't really talk about it. Second period, there's 6 goals, and then 4 or whatever in the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was completely insane. And it was a combination of the defense being bad on both sides, but should I fully give the Leafs offense all the credit they deserve, or was Ryan Miller bad?
Ryan Miller was bad.
Because both of Nylander's goals were breakaways, though.
Yes, but Ryan Miller was still bad.
Like that Matthews goal, the first one, the wraparound, was so pretty,
but
you can't allow it.
Why is he biting so hard on the wraparound?
Wraparounds can't go in 2018.
No.
He
looked like a ball hockey goalie who got stuck on one side of the net. It was embarrassing.
He beat him. The Marner shot was a good shot, but I can't remember which shot it was, but Miller was clearly screened. Maybe that was the Marner one. Komarov, slight tip. I don't know.
Speaking of defense.
Yes.
Jake Gardner.
Phenomenal.
Really?
Absolutely. Why?
Really?
What were you about to say?
He did some Jake Gardner things.
Oh, totally.
As well as was phenomenal.
What were the Gardner things?
When he stood around and everyone passed him and there was a goal.
I saw that. What else?
Even on the Willie goal, where he came in and he pinched so hard within the blue line. You know, if he misses that one step to the right, That's going the other way.
Fifths and butts for candy and nuts. You know what? He looked bad on what? Let's say he looked bad on 2 goals. His assists, 1, 2, 3. 3 is larger than 2. That's always been the story of Jake Gardiner.
That's not good.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But that has always been the story with him. And as long as his number is bigger than the other team's number, I don't care. You know what? 3 is bigger than 1. Someone asked me today, would you rather see a 3-1 win or a 7-4 win? My favorite wins are the ones that belong to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Those are my favorite wins. I don't care. I know Babcock likes 3-1 wins more, so I guess I'd rather see those. And I suppose your team did fewer things wrong in a 3-1 win, but they also did fewer things right. Or did they? They did more things right defensively, I guess.
Yes.
I guess this is literally the thing that we joke about when it comes to the Leafs winning the Stanley Cup, that they didn't win the Stanley Cup properly. They won 7-4. Shouldn't we be happy about that?
But there are flaws that I think will come out in tougher against better teams.
Ducks are pretty good.
The Ducks are very good, but I think in the playoffs, because that's what Babcock's been hammering away at this entire first half of the season. Yeah. You can't go into the playoffs playing 7-8 hockey, you know? You're not going to win a game like that. So I think if you get to this point, you want them to turn around and not win every game 6-5.
Agreed.
You want them to win a couple 4-1, 3-1, 2-0 games, and they have been.
They have been. I
but
think
is
this
it going to stick
just
come
a weird
game 83? Do you think?
No. We saw it against the Caps. They buckled down. I think, it was a one-off. It was a one-off weird home game, and it's best to have those at home. And also, they lost their starter. Which I was never actually that worried.
No, he looked like precautionary.
He held his face right away. He was screwing with his face when the trainer was out there, and then coming off the ice, he was making that ridiculous, jaw adjusting face. Like he got kicked in the jaw. That's what happened. You can get concussions from that.
Oh, yeah.
But he seemed more fussed with he got his face hurt. And I've never dislocated my jaw or anything, but it sounds really bad. Jaw injuries. I got the opportunity to talk to Nazem Kadri shortly after he was drafted by the Leafs at the announcement of the 2010 World Junior Team in Regina, Saskatchewan. After my first flight ever.
Oh.
This was working for Nike. Yeah, my first flight was to
I've heard this story before.
Regina. Well, anyway. Yeah. So I asked Kadri about his broken jaw because he suffered a broken jaw in junior. And he told me that the doctor told him it's a 2-year recovery. So it sounds shitty to get your jaw hurt. That's what I thought it was the whole time. What was I talking about right before that?
The game and defense and playoffs.
So about Gardiner. Yes. I wanted to get back to Gardiner.
Gardiner.
TSN had this graphic up, unless I'm mistaken, that said...
I've never heard of them.
Yeah. This game was Gardiner's 4th 3-assist game of his career. What they left out was it was his 3rd 3-assist game in the last 17 days.
Oh, wow.
He has been incredible.
Offensively. Yes.
He has been more incredible offensively than he's been bad defensively.
Yeah.
There's a great, if it's still online, and it's for the 3-letter, but I don't care. It's a relic, so it's worth looking up.
Sure.
There's a basically a fight between Tyler Dello and Steve Simmons. They were, on the radio together. And Simmons was arguing that Mikhail Grabovski sucked. And this is back when Grabovski did not suck. He got hurt. Dello was... And it was amazing watching Dello try to argue the very simple point that the Leafs score more with Grabovski on the ice than they get scored against. Isn't that the point of hockey?
Just plus minus?
No, well, yeah, no, it was at even strength. Yeah, so I guess plus minus. Yeah. But he leads to more good than bad. He might have more bad than other players, but he brings so much more good than other players that it matters.
So that's your opinion on Jake Gardiner. Like, you forgive...
For now.
You forgive his cluelessness at times defensively.
Well, and then there are nights where, he's on for 2 against and does nothing. And those are the nights where I hate him. But it's been like a month since I've had one of those nights.
Mm-hmm.
He's real good. The one guy I am concerned about, though, and it's only been a few games, but since coming back from injury, Ron Hainsey does not look the same.
Do you think
I've not liked him.
his elderly body is being affected by the injury? And it's taking a little longer to recover and get back up to game speed?
Possibly. Or it could just be he's having a wonky few games. I don't know. And I mean...
And that happens. Matthews didn't have a good game Saturday.
No, he did not.
No.
And did you notice much of... Like, have you noticed much of Riley since he's come back either?
Not really.
No.
He's been okay.
The Leafs' top pairing is out of sorts. And, like, this is why what Gardner is doing is so exemplary. Zaitsev just got back after missing 17 games. Then both Riley and Hainsey were out. So there's your top pair. So it's Gardner tugging along, Riley, who just got back, Hainsey, who just got back, Zaitsev, who just got back, rookie Dermott, and Roman Polak. And it's Gardner just going, like those strongman competitions where you see the guy pull a truck.
Yeah.
That's what he's been doing for like 2 or 3 weeks now.
I think you're giving Jake Gardner a little bit too much credit.
You know what? It's a good change, isn't it? This is, you know what I worry about sometimes? Like when I read the comment section, like every now and then.
Which you should never do.
No. But sometimes I look at what people are saying about certain players and I'm like, did I condition them to say that? Like, I hope not.
I think in some cases, yes. Like, you might have been hammered. Like, even Nazem Kadri for Selke is a ridiculous idea.
That was also a little bit of fun.
But people started believing it.
Well, I did too.
You believed it.
He had the numbers. Well, and then he had a few bad games and people were like, still Steve? And I'm like, oh, we'll see. and then, I mean, it was true for a little bit.
Okay.
It was true-ish.
So I think definitely if you say something over and over again in your videos, people trust your opinion and they believe it.
I have friends who like they don't talk that much about hockey, but when I'm around them, they I don't know, I guess feel obligated. And
not obligated, it's something you're interested in, so they talk about hockey.
But like
That's how conversations work, Steve.
Yeah, I know. But they go back to certain takes all the time because they remember how I've felt at certain points. And if I see them and the Leafs have just lost, they'll be like, I can't stand Gardner. Probably because I've ranted to them about I can't frickin' stand Gardner.
Regardless of if they've seen the game, if they know what happened, they could just be like, that Gardner. You just guess and it's probably
Frickin'
true.
Gardner. And you know what? This is also a key factor. Like, Steve, are you going to feel the same way about Gardner when he, his contract's up and someone, maybe the Leafs, signs him to $6 or $7 million? No, I will not. But right now, he's making a hair over 4. Look at what he's... Dude, yeah, he's not the greatest defensively. He's on pace for, 49 points as a defender. Mm-hmm. He's on pace for more than most of the Leafs forwards, and they're supposed to be a loaded team up front. Come on. That's so good.
All right.
That's so
Gardner.
good.
We're Team Jake Gardner.
Look at Phaneuf's contract. You think he got that because he's a defensive stalwart or because he puts up points? Because he put up points for a long time.
Mitchie looked good.
Yeah, he looked all right. I'm trying to think of who looked really good. I mean, Gardner looked really good. The Matthews line looked very good. Kapanen. God, I love Kapanen so much. He's got that speed. I love speed. Like, teams see him barreling down, and very few players have an answer for that. They don't have a player who can keep up with Kapanen.
I think Kasperi Kapanen is faster than Connor McDavid.
That'd be a good race. You know, there was a foot race.
You know, that's not true at all.
Probably not.
I'm completely making that up, and it's not true.
There was a foot race in the Rangers game where Grabner had the puck and Kapanen was chasing him, and I was like, "Whoa!" I think Grabner got like a little inside step on him, but that was a fast race. Another guy who is, this is the difference between fast skater and good skater. Kapanen has got to be the fastest skater on the team. The best skater on the team is probably Travis Dermott. Because he does so many things, and he did a few things last night. I don't know how good of a game he had in terms of numbers, but there were a few plays where he had the puck, probably had a couple really simple outs, but he looked at the player who was guarding him, and he went, Yeah, okay, yeah, but I'm just going to dust him instead.
I'm just going to go around you.
And he just, no, not even around. He would make a few turns. And because he knows where he's going and the other guy doesn't, and because his feet are superior to the other guy's feet, he just burned them. He did it 2 or 3 times. God, Dermott is going to be something. I know Babcock was talking about his defensive blemishes. Same thing with Gardner. I am more excited for what Dermott can do than what he can't.
It's crazy to see the entire game of hockey go in that direction, where speed is so much more important than being truculent and getting into the dirty areas and being tough. It's all about speed now, and I think it's a lot better.
Well, and like one thing I saw people say after the Boston game, and it's funny, like how much one game makes you change your entire philosophy on the sport. At least should have had Matt Martin in the lineup for a game against Boston. Now, okay, Matt Martin fought Chara once.
You got to out-tough them, Steve.
Yeah.
That's how you get goals.
Yeah. So Matt Martin fought Chara once. Didn't go great. Fought McQuaid once. Got knocked out. Now, but they talked to a bunch of the tweets I got were about, well, he'll keep a guy like Marchand in line.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Matt Martin will ever be on the ice at the same time, especially in a road game, as Brad Marchand? Do you think Martin is ever going to be there? Do you think the Bruins are going to let Matt Martin get within 50 feet of Brad Marchand? Do you actually think that?
The answer to all of your questions is no, Stephen.
Name a goon who has just grabbed hold of the collar and just repeatedly popped Kadri in the face. Is anyone sending Tom Sestito after like Leo Komarov or Nazem Kadri? It's funny. I'm going through the Rolodex in my head of the enforcers left in the league. There aren't
many. And there's
many.
Like a handful.
There's not many.
Mm-hmm.
So he keeps the flies off. I think what we're finding is there's not many flies. And the flies are guys like Matthew Tkachuk. Like,
who is a very skilled player.
A very skilled player. Who is super annoying, but like, well, Matthews and him are friends, so maybe that's not the best example, but like, Matthews could beat him up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's not like a big dude.
No.
He's a little pest.
Yeah, you're not accounting for toughness. Like, are you telling me Zach Hyman can't handle himself?
Mm.
You know? Are you telling me JVR can't handle himself? Well, he shouldn't have to. Well, too bad. And you're taking one of their skilled players off the ice. The best tough guys in the league are also good at hockey. There's not enough of those.
Is there anything from your LFR that we haven't brought up before we move on?
Nothing I can think of. Sorry if that's boring.
On February 1st, 2018, Steve Dangle tweeted,
Going back in time.
Yeah, suspend him forever. Wow. So, Gudas.
Radko Gudas.
Got no games for his hit on...
Kyle Palmieri, I think.
There you go. Do you think that punishment is fair?
Yeah. At first glimpse, that's... Never tweet, kids. Never tweet. No, first glimpse, that looked horrible. It looked like he jumped into a headshot on a player, but really, it looked accidental, and he jumped to avoid contact. Like, I saw people tweeting like, what, was that the smart thing to do? No, of course not. It was just instinct. You should have seen me at the dog park today. Like, you should have seen dogs sprinting and I'm just randomly moving in all different directions because it was my instinct to not have my ACL, MCL blown out by some friggin' sprinting St. Bernard. You know, it was reflex to get out of the way. By the way, that's the difference in our lives. Radko Gudas has to like dodge other professional hockey players. I'm dodging dogs at the dog park.
I think your life sounds a lot better.
You know, it's more peaceful.
It is.
Less rich.
So, that's for certain.
Yeah, but it's Radko Gudas. It's similar to what Corey Perry did to Frederik Andersen. Mm-hmm. Total accident. And he does a lot of things accidentally on purpose, but that was a total accident. But it's Corey Perry. So, regardless,
all the games.
Screw that guy.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Gudas, well, he didn't do anything wrong in that play. Okay, fair enough, but screw that guy. He doesn't need to have done anything wrong in that play for me to say screw that guy.
At 7:21 a.m. on February 6th, that's today. Our first tweet from today. At Sportsnet tweeted, Maple Leafs Joffrey Lupul seems at peace with probable end of career.
I have not had a chance to
Via
read
reporter
or
Chris.
listen to this yet.
So, Joffrey Lupul was on a podcast.
What?
Yes, apparently he's very into hockey now. So he was on the member guest podcast.
He's very into golf now.
Yes, he's very into golf.
You said very into hockey.
Oh, did I say it?
Yeah, I was like, wait, that could be a joke.
No.
No. He's very into hockey.
That was a Freudian
golf.
slip.
Yep.
All right. So
He's into hockey as well.
he was on a golf podcast hosted by Brendan Steele and Lincoln Park bassist Dave Farrell.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, PGA Tour player Brendan Steele and Lincoln Park bassist David Farrell interviewed Joffrey Lupul. Adam, your job is a lot harder than it looks.
That's an even funnier Freudian slip, though, because Josh Levo has played only a fraction more games than Joffrey Lupul over the past 2 years.
Ooh.
And his game has been compared to him a lot. Big forward, right-handed shot, good offensively, clueless defensively. Anyway.
He said on this podcast, everyone watches a 3-hour game of hockey and they think that's all you did that day, which is clearly not true. I even find now that I'm not playing, I tell myself sometimes, I'm like, man, I miss certain things, but I'm thinking about like the best moments. I'm not thinking about getting multiple surgeries and breaking bones and like the bad parts or the tough parts. Injuries and different things like that are all a part of it. When I think about things like that, it's easier to let go of the fact that your body is not in good shape and it's probably not meant to play hockey anymore. But it's very easy to just focus on the great moments. The playoff games or big goals and stuff like that. That's one thing I find myself dealing with now that I'm not playing and probably won't be playing going forward.
Wow, that's really interesting. So that's... Well, what were you about to say?
I was going to say it's completely different from what he was saying in September.
Which is, they're lying and covering up my injury and the X-Files, David Duchovny, and all this stuff. No, he's admitting I can't do this anymore. Probably. Like, he hasn't ruled it out. I mean, I have a hard time believing he'll get an NHL contract after this. Mm-hmm. Maybe we see Levo... I just did it.
There you go.
Maybe we see Lupul get like a PTO to start next year. Plays a few exhibition games.
If he really commits himself over the summer,
Yeah, but I mean, guy's made his money. And like, he's not young anymore, really. To be making a comeback, he could do it. Like, I'm sure he could play in Europe if he really wanted to. Although he didn't really seem keen to do that during the lockout. He played 9 games for Avtomobilist Yekaterinburg of the KHL.
Chris Johnston's article also says, Lupul says he's been splitting time between Newport Beach and New York City, where he co-owns a new restaurant. He's also had time to golf, play guitar, attend concerts, and travel to a degree not possible while he was a full-time NHLer. So it sounds like his life is here, clearly, in New York and California, and doesn't sound like he's going to Europe, but I don't know.
Well,
sounds like he's retired.
He's doing a smart thing that I think the smartest NHL players do is they invest, in preparation for their retirement, and he co-owns a restaurant, so that sounds great. Mm-hmm. That money, the income doesn't last forever. I feel, a lot of people don't feel sympathy for Lupul because he makes lots of money, and fine. But can we also admit that we're talking about sports here, and all the people that we're talking about are rich? Or most of them are? Well, I don't feel bad for them because they're rich. Well, okay, they're all rich.
Then don't watch.
Yeah. Can we talk about this in the context of them being professional athletes? Mm-hmm. Joffrey Lupul, it sounds like he did some knuckleheaded things, not all of which we know about. Mm-hmm. And I'm fascinated to learn about them if those things ever come out. But he loved being a Toronto Maple Leaf. Really loved being a Toronto Maple Leaf. And during a time where no one did. You know what I mean? Even before the 2013 playoff run, he really loved being a Toronto Maple Leaf. And the fan base didn't quite embrace Dion Phaneuf, and there was the constant battle of Phil Kessel, and he wasn't the most, outspoken or open guy, and there weren't too many rookies to latch on to. Loophole just seemed to love it the entire time. It sucks that it ended this way. But, I mean, for the best hockey players, sometimes their career ends kind of unceremoniously. Look at the end of Doug Gilmour's career.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am, back in Toronto, blown out knee, 5 minutes in. Okay.
Shane Doan,
you just fade away. Jaromir Jagr, you fade away. Jerome McGinley, faded away.
still a free agent.
Still a free agent.
Not retired yet.
Mark Savard just announced his retirement. You know why? Career ended because of injury 5 or 6 years ago. Something like that. I mean, we love the Ray Bourque moments, but that's the way it ends for most guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Sad times.
I
I think that's all the Leaf stuff we got today.
We
got everybody.
See, there's a key thing for the timestamps. We've been getting a lot of too much Leaf stuff complaints recently.
Hey,
you saw that, right?
Hey, you complaining about Leaf stuff? I'm looking at you. I'm looking at the mic right now because I'm talking to this person. Hey,
Their name is Mike.
This thing that you're listening to is a Leafs podcast.
See, I don't know that it is.
No. What do you make?
LFRs.
What does that mean? What does that stand for?
Leafs fan reaction.
Who are you?
Stev Dangle.
No, a Leafs fan.
Oh, yes. But I also talk about other things.
Yeah.
I get on TV once a week nationally and talk about a hockey topic that is rarely ever the Leafs. I write about stuff that is not always the Leafs.
Steve.
On the podcast, we don't always talk about the Leafs.
Steve.
What?
If you walk into a Panago Pizza today, what do they have?
Pizza.
They have pizza. What do they also have?
Breadsticks.
They have some salad.
And
They do have
wings? They have wings.
They have a little thing of wings. But what do they sell?
Pizza.
They sell damn pizza. We're a Leafs podcast, but you can buy a Coke here.
But some people want breadsticks, Jesse.
Yeah, and we give them to you every now and again when we're done making our pizzas.
You know what people are doing right now? They're asking for chicken at the keg.
Exactly. Anyways.
And the keg makes good chicken.
I don't know.
I think sometimes we make good chicken.
We do. We make delicious chicken.
But you come here for the steak.
Exactly. Yeah, eat the Panago pizza.
Let's go to the keg and get mashed potatoes tonight. Hey, the keg has good mashed potatoes.
So that's my response.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I get it. Well,
I don't get it.
fair enough. Man, we're not always a Leaf show.
Yeah.
When there's a big topic, we talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. Because we're also half NHL podcast, but we're
This show was launched during a playoff run where the Leafs had been eliminated. And our second show got huge numbers, and they were, huge numbers for at the time, and they were half American, half Canadian, because we talked about the Penguins and Sidney Crosby mostly that episode.
But you know
We've
what?
had the co-owner of the Florida Panthers on this show. We've had people talk about the Oilers and the Bruins and et cetera on the show. We talk about other stuff.
All of that is great mashed potatoes. But the steak, we all know, is the damn Leafs. And that's why you're here, and that's what we're going to talk about for 50% of our show.
Is it possible
Yes.
that when we talk about the Oilers and the Penguins and other teams around the league, that's the juice?
The teams that don't matter as much.
But that's the juice.
What juice? The juice in the steak?
The juice.
No, it's the side
But
plate.
when we talk about the Leafs, that's the sauce.
No, the Leafs are the steak. You're ruining the analogy.
No, you're
What the hell are you
do you
doing?
not know the YouTube video?
What are you talking about?
Have you not seen the dude at Best Buy talk about the sauce versus the juice?
No.
It'll change your life.
I'm not a YouTuber, Steve. I don't spend all my time on the YouTubes.
Well, I changed my life. Changed my life.
Yeah, I
All
have no
know
idea
is
what
that
you're referring to.
There's a lot of people really upset at you right now that you don't know that.
I am a little embarrassed. I apologize.
We'll have to watch it.
I have to apologize. In my best Steve Harvey.
Oh, did Miss Columbia win?
Moonlight. Best picture, everyone.
Oh my God. How does that happen twice in a year? That was staged.
Let's get back to the podcast.
Sure.
All right.
I was going to say, speaking of staged, should we get to my Logan Paul conspiracy theory?
No, we're not doing that today. I hate it, so we're not doing that.
Why do you hate it? Fine.
So, Eric Angles. No, let's go with Mark Spector.
Oh.
At Sportsnet Spec. If your surfing games may refer you to Edmonton, Tampa Bay, McDavid having a best player in the world game. Real Patrick O'Sullivan tweeted, there's absolutely no way anyone can argue against McDavid being the fastest human to ever skate. He's making a quick Tampa team look like Pee-wee kids. So, question. Three-parter. Last night, that game, Tampa, Oilers, incredible. McDavid, 4 goals, unbelievable.
Crazy.
One.
Older than Matthews when he did it.
One. Did you see the game?
No.
Okay. Did you see the highlights at least?
No, I haven't.
What?
Because
did you even see the goal on Twitter or at least?
I saw a couple pictures of the celebration. I was watching the Leafs game last night, and it was Mrs. Dangle's birthday last night, so I was tending to that. And then today I made the video, and I had some other stuff to tend to, and then I came here. I didn't have time.
Oh my God.
Went to the DP, dog park. I know I got to see it.
Deep breath, Jesse. So go watch those highlights of those 4 goals. They were great.
Wait, I did see one of them, and it was really good. But I need to see all 4.
The short side one?
He dangled between a bunch of people. Wait, that might not have even been the Tampa game.
No, I don't think so. Anyway.
He's been hot.
I'm going to ask you 2 more questions then.
He's Connor McDavid.
Is Connor McDavid the best player in the NHL right now?
This is the interesting thing with the whole Jake Gardner thing. I think Connor McDavid is the best offensive player in the NHL. I don't know if he's the best yet, though. Fastest? Certainly. Most skilled? Yeah, just maybe. Best offensive? There's a good argument there. Best? I'm not sure.
Because he can't play defense that well.
Well, I don't know about that, but the Oilers have tried to use him on the penalty kill a few times, and Justin Bourne even tweeted this. He's like, I'm not sure McDavid's the best penalty killer, which is interesting because he's, you figure anyone with, I feel like the most important thing to have in hockey is your feet because they take you to where you need to be, which isn't that what being a penalty killer is? You go to where you're needed, and I don't know. Maybe he doesn't quite have the sense for that yet. But I mean, every player has flaws.
Mm-hmm. Also, I don't think if I was the coach, which I will never be, I wouldn't want to waste my energy, McDavid's energy, on having him out there on the PK. You have other players who can do that.
No, well, the Oilers are at a spot where they're just willing to try anything to alleviate that problem.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's funny, though, that McDavid can have one game and we rant and rave about how he's the best player in the world. Then Sidney Crosby can have, 20 points in 10 games or something stupid like he did, and we barely even bat an eye.
But he's not new, Steve. He's not our new toy. McDavid is still the new toy.
McDavid will be the best player in the world. It's just a matter of when. Right now, you can argue it.
Yes.
But one day, probably soon, it will be undeniable. We're not there yet.
Okay.
You can say it, and I'll be like, totally.
Is he the fastest hockey player to ever skate?
I don't know. There's some really fast hockey players, man. I wish that is what I would use time travel for. It wouldn't be to warn anyone of anything. It would just be
to win the lottery. I just want to go watch hockey players skate.
Yeah, I just want to make Connor McDavid race Dylan Larkin and Mike Gardner and Pavel Bure.
Oh, cool. Yeah, don't use it for anything important.
And Rocket Richard.
Don't stop 9/11.
Wow.
Don't do that. No, just go do your hockey thing, Steve. That's what time travel was invented for. For you to get a kick out of some hockey skating.
That was it?
Okay.
Jesus, Jesse.
So, Eric Engels. This is from his article on sportsnet.ca. My question after this.
Oh, baby. Eric's at that part of the season. I know exactly what you're talking about. Eric is at it's February and I'm sick of covering this crap part of the season.
My question after I read this paragraph to you is thoughts?
Wait, how do you spell?
You know how I spell it.
Fair enough.
Mark Bergevin is well within reason to consider signing Thomas Plekanec to a new contract. But if he doesn't trade the 35-year-old by this year's February 26th deadline, it should be the last decision he makes as general manager of the Montreal Canadiens. The Canadiens have arguably the weakest center line in the NHL, and he's the best they've got on the defensive side of the puck. But that's the decision for July 1st, not one for right now, when Bergevin should be working as hard as he needs in order to redeem a second-round pick for Plekanec's services.
He is absolutely
Thoughts?
right. Who is a better center available for like playoff rental than Thomas Plekanec? If the Ducks fall out of the playoff picture, maybe Vermette. Maybe. If Carolina falls out of the picture, I wonder if you could wrestle Derek Ryan away from them. That'd be so nice. He's been on my lease wish list, but I don't think they're going to do it. Plekanec strikes me as exactly the kind of player you should go after as a rental. Don't make him do too much. He's old. But the Habs have nothing to play for this year. It's done. And he's a UFA. What's the problem here? Maybe you could recoup even more by, retaining salary on him. Because I think he's got a $6 million cap hit. And the Habs can afford it. So maybe you turn that second rounder into a second and a fifth. Or a second and a third. I don't know. I don't know exactly how you do it. But if you're selling, which the Habs absolutely should be, you don't need to call it a rebuild. You don't need to be rebuilding to sell at the deadline. You just need to be bad, which they are, or have no hope of making the playoffs, which they don't.
The Habs currently have 50 points. The second wildcard position is held by the New York Islanders, who have 58 points.
Really?
Yes, really.
Wait, the Islanders are back in the wildcard spot?
They have 58 points. They are one ahead of Philadelphia, who has 57.
Wow, that's really interesting. So I've been so caught up in the Leafs that I haven't been paying attention to those Metro teams have really dropped off.
Fun fact. The Canadiens are tied for the one playoff spot outside of the Atlantic spot. So the top three are Tampa, Boston, Toronto, and then you got Detroit, Montreal, who are tied at 50. So if Montreal can catch Toronto, it's 17 points back.
Yeah, like so.
But,
not only
8 points back the Islanders.
Not only are they 8 points back, but they got to leapfrog 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. Or wait, did I count that right?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
5 teams.
No, because they got to leapfrog one of the teams in the playoffs as well.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
6 teams.
You're screwed. No, and Engel's point, again, it is reasonable. What's the point of re-signing Plekanec? Just trade him. And maybe you can re-sign him in the summer. Maybe. The Habs' efforts should be 100% balls to the walls, do whatever you can, tamper if you have to get John Tavares. That's been the plan since the beginning of the season, it seems like. They have a crazy amount of cap room. The Habs should be easily the most active team in free agency this summer. And if they're not, I don't know what the hell you're doing. And then you find yourself in a situation that's very interesting because if you fire Mark Bergevin, okay, so you either have easily the most desperate GM in the NHL with all the cap room in the NHL making moves at in free agency, or you have a brand new GM looking to make a splash in Montreal making those moves instead at free agency.
If you were a Canadiens fan, what are you rooting for? Bergevin's firing?
Bergevin's firing, but I worry they make some kind of dumb mistake this summer, if I'm them.
I don't know what that dumb mistake would be.
Oh, me neither. It's just players are always signed to often erroneous deals in the summer. But again, with Carey Price and a few of the players that the Habs have, they're really not far away from being a good team.
Like you always keep saying John Tavares. If John Tavares is in their lineup today,
they're fine.
That team can go on a run and probably make the playoffs.
Yep.
Considering how weak the East looks right now.
It's like we got a lesson in that with Austin Matthews. Like you take Matthews out of the lineup, the Leafs look a lot less threatening. But because you're able to push Kadri down, push Bozak down, especially. Like I think, boy, I have not loved him recently. He was okay. He was okay in the Anaheim game, but because you were able to push those two guys
JVR
down.
Bozak Kessel.
Yeah, remember when Bozak was the Leafs' first line center for like half a decade?
And
remember
it worked, and it worked for like 3 months.
See, that was an example.
Was fun.
See, that was
the best time.
That was the anti-Gardner though, because they scored a lot, but they got scored against more.
Yes.
Yeah, one player. You know, you make Drouin your full-time second line center behind Tavares. Yeah, I bet Drouin has more success. And then Deneau is your third.
And you bring back Plekanec as your fourth.
Yeah, and who cares is your fourth.
Who gives a shit? Yeah.
Right? And then whoever your top two wingers are immediately better.
Probably not Patches, because he looks gone.
Unless you keep Patches and have him on a line with Tavares.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're...
And then all of a sudden, they're a very threatening team.
And who in the league is poised to make this move more than that? They're in a better position to re-sign Tavares than the Islanders are, aren't they?
No, I was going to say the Islanders are probably the front runners right now.
Man. The Islanders...
Name one big-time NHL player who was in the prime of their career and left via free agency.
I guess it would have to be the big Suter Parise thing in 2013.
That's a great one. Huge.
It started great.
Zach Parise.
It started great.
Yeah.
It went not great.
That's my point. It doesn't happen.
Well, it's my point too. Well, no, it does happen. It just rarely pays off. I think Tavares it does though.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
All right. We're going to do this. February 6th, 2018.
You know how many people right now are going, go back to the Leafs. Go back to the Leafs. Do Leaf stuff. Sorry.
Where is John Tavares come September 2018?
It all depends on the Islanders making the playoffs.
Steve.
Toronto, screw it. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Let's go.
All right.
How sick would that be?
The correct answer is he resigns as a New York Islander for 10 years. No, he resigns 8 years, 10.5, I think.
See, that's the kind of move where, like, imagine the Leafs get him, so they have to go cheap at a bunch of other positions.
Oh, yeah.
So Josh Levo is primo. and I just wonder if Babcock just turns to him and goes, see what I couldn't tell you this, but I was trying to tell you this, you little shit. I bet you're happy now. You get to play on Tavares' wing because we don't even care. Because we don't have to.
Yeah.
Man, if he's not on the... Imagine he's on the second line with Matthews.
It doesn't matter what line it is anymore.
No, it doesn't.
It's just we have Tavares and Matthews and Kadri and Marleau and it doesn't matter who else.
No, absolutely not. It does not matter.
That'll be fun.
But I mean, Montreal.
This is from a Reddit page.
Yeah. What they do with all that cap space if they don't get Tavares is what I'd be more interested in. I have no idea.
So we have a couple more things before we wrap up. This is from a Reddit page from One Nut Phil.
One Nut Phil.
One Nut Phil.
Oh, One Nut. Ew. Okay.
Think my man Phil is going to win the Art Ross this year?
Maybe. You know what? Pittsburgh's heating up and Tampa is cooling down. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Please, no. Please, yes. Also.
Yeah. Also, that'd be funny.
Also, you want to talk about things that could cause a lockout. Having your league's leading scorer have $1.2 million of his salary retained for, what was it, 6 years, 7 years? Jesus, Murphy. Frickin' Phil. Frickin' Phil. Frickin' Phil.
His cap hit is still only 6.8. That's a sweetheart deal, right? Especially if he goes
at 6.8. I'd say
about fair value.
Honestly, the way he's performed in Pittsburgh, 8.
Oh, no.
He should be getting the full 8.
Yeah, he's the 6.8 is the cap hit because the Leafs are retaining the 1.2.
Okay, what does he got?
That makes more sense.
What's he got as a Penguin?
In terms of stats?
Yes. See, this is the thing we never quite got to see with Phil, is you'll see their regular season numbers and be like, but then their playoff numbers come in and you go, worth every penny. So,
wow, he's almost... Look at his numbers this year compared to last year.
Right, okay. So his first year as a Penguin in 82 games, 26 goals, 33 assists. Wow, he's never reached the 30-goal mark as a Penguin, eh? So in his first year in 82 games, 26 goals, 33 assists for 59 points. But you don't care about that because in the playoffs, 24 games, he had 10 goals, 12 assists, 22 points. Almost a point-a-game player. Again, 82 games last season, 23 goals, 47 assists, 70 points. So that's much better. And then again in the playoffs, 25 games, 8 goals, 15 assists. By the way, Penguins fans, did I not tell you? Did I not freaking tell you? Underrated playmaker for 23 points. And then this year, 54 games, he's got 23 goals, matches his total from last year, 40 assists, 63 points. So he's on pace to have his best season yet as a Penguin.
Is he going to hit 100 points?
No, maybe.
If he got a little more hot, he could hit 100.
You know what? A little more hot for like 25 extra games. Like, that's a lot.
It's a lot to ask, but it's definitely doable.
God, come on! And this is
I love
like,
it. I love it.
It's why, like, can we call him playoff performer? Or I guess why wouldn't anyone call him a playoff performer?
Oh, his numbers are a point a game. He has 66 points in his career, and he's played 71 games.
Yeah, and that's going back to the Leafs too, when he had 6 in 7.
He was 11-11.
And go look at his Boston
And
stats.
4-4.
He was a point a game in Boston.
He shows up at the playoffs.
He shows up in the play. Like, you know whose contract has never been good, but because he's so good in the playoffs, no one cares? Joel Ward. Joel Ward makes like $4 million for what?
To show up, to score goals in the playoffs.
The playoffs, 100%. 100%. No, he's real good.
All right.
That's unbelievable. Freaking Phil.
This is also from our Reddit page. Habs 1993. Oh, I love this question.
Ooh.
Habs 1993 asks, a few episodes ago, you made an iDubbbz reference.
Yes, I did.
Made me wonder who you, a YouTuber, follow on YouTube. What are some of your favorite channels?
The channel that I've been obsessed with recently, to the point where Mrs. Dangle is starting to get upset, is Bill Wirtz.
Never heard of him.
Love Bill Wirtz. He used to mostly just make like vines and 6 or 7 second videos that are ridiculous. But he's like a musician who you know how many people right now know who Bill Wirtz is, and they're like, oh, this is interesting. We get to hear someone try to describe Bill Wirtz. He made a video called History of Japan. That was like one of his big breakout videos. And it's 9 minutes long. And he explains the history of Japan using cartoons and humor and also like jingles, like silly jingles. And that one blew up. And then he made a video called History of the Entire World, I guess. And it's 19 minutes where he does the same thing, but he does the entire history of the world. Yeah, there he is with the green umbrella. And then he has a few other videos that are just songs. And I don't know, something about his voice. It's just so relaxing and I love it. I don't know if you could play it because you'd get like a copyright strike.
Yeah, we can't play this. But
put it this way, the day it is legalized, Bill Wirtz will get a lot of views. He is a very bizarre artist, but I just like listening to him. Oh, there's no way you haven't seen the Hi, I'm Steve video.
yeah, I remember when that happened, you like sent it to our group chat.
Yeah, so
I
he did
remember
that.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Steve. I like Philip DeFranco. The thing about him is I don't know, sometimes he's a little too inside baseball. Like he talks about things that freaking matter to his audience. And I'm like, I haven't even heard of the people you're discussing, so I feel like excluded.
You know what this is?
What?
The thing you're talking about right now is our Inside Baseball show. This podcast is the definition of Inside Baseball. we talk about Shoshnikov's contract situation. You know where that gets talked about? Nowhere.
It gets talked about amongst Leaf fans.
Yeah, but I think like that. So
Penguins fans are listening like, shut up.
yeah. So I think like if he goes very inside baseball, it's like, okay, but it's working. Because I think we do that so
working.
much here. Where we talk about things that only people who specifically listen to this podcast regularly would care about. So I think it works.
His thumbnails piss me off. I hate his
They're
thumbnails.
so
They're
YouTube-y.
bad. Well, and like half of them have Trump in them because it's like a Trump story. And I'm like, man, okay, it's gotten to the point where all your thumbnails look the same. You know, and they have, like, I suppose if he talks about Logan Paul and Logan Paul's in the title and he's got a picture of Logan Paul next to his stupid head, you know, making a silly face like he always does, it'll get more views that way. But, like, I hate it. I think it looks, they're all the damn same. Look at them. It's his head between two other heads. And sometimes it's his head looking scarcely next to another one. They're all the same, right? They're
I'm
the
just sitting
exact
here
same.
laughing at his ridiculous thumbnails. They're so bad.
Which it's funny, like
He's a meme though. Like
he's a wildly successful YouTuber with a staff, and his thumbnails are trash. But look at
he
how
makes
many
the
views all those
same
videos
face
have.
every time.
Concerned,
This is interesting. What?
holding his neck,
Huh?
doing the praying hands. But look at how many videos he has per view. Or sorry, how many views he has per video.
1.9 million, 1.5 million, 2.3 million, 2.2 million, 1.8 million, 1.5 million.
And those are daily.
Crazy.
Those are daily. This freaking
He does
guy.
better than most television shows that have ever existed.
I'm on pace, and I probably won't hit this because I slow down in the summer, obviously, but I'm on pace for a little over 8 million views this year, 2018. And that's if I keep going. And that would easily be my best year ever. And he does that in probably less than a week. The biggest YouTubers just freaking dwarf me, dude.
So any other YouTubers you want to shout out?
I'm trying to think of who I really like. I've been on a huge Bill Wirtz kick. There's not a ton of guys, like even iDubbbz, like he's done a few really good content cops where like he'll go through a shitty YouTuber who does shitty things and he just does a 20-minute roasting of their entire lives. He's killed Keemstar, who is a pretty big douchebag on YouTube. Leafy was another one who he just freaking destroyed. You just reminded me that I haven't updated my trailer video on my YouTube channel. Thank you, Jesse. But yeah, it's been mostly Bill Wirtz recently. Not a typical YouTuber. I'm not into vloggers really. I don't like people talking about things. I like watching silly things. I like having Bill Wirtz on because even his voice, his voice when he's not even trying to be musical is musical. I like having it on in the background.
Okay.
Sometimes I edit my videos
To
where I need to listen to my voice with other voices on in the background, and it's often Bill Wirtz's. And I often put on the History of the Entire World video because it's 19 minutes. So mostly Bill Wirtz recently.
I have something to bring up about Edmonton.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for it right now. And I just found it. Renato Pagnani?
Oh my God. Renato is not a name I've ever seen, but that'd be Pagnani.
All right.
Pagnani.
Well, it's a Twitter handle. Vati is the Twitter handle. And his tweet says, find someone who cares about you as much as Edmonton media cares about goalies not doing interviews after morning skate.
Boy.
Did you see this happen?
Oh, the Ryan Rashog stuff? I got involved by accident. I didn't mean to.
Did you really?
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Okay. So, and
I didn't mean it.
He tweeted that, and then he screen capped 4 tweets. The first one's from Jason Gregor.
I've been on his show.
Biggest joke in hockey. Goalie who doesn't talk to media on game day? 7-minute interview 8 hours prior to the game day should not impact preparation. Next quoted tweet. Don't know how Oilers' backup goaltender Al Montoya feels about starting tonight against Avs because he doesn't talk on game day. Next tweet. Al Montoya doesn't talk on game days, needs to focus. Only Oiler who does this. Why should it be different for him? Only conclusion is that he's more fragile in his preparation, or he's ducking responsibility with this silly loophole.
So that was the big one.
Neither are great qualities for a goalie.
And this was the day after Bell Let's Talk, so people were especially upset.
Is there a formal process for complaining about players not living up to their media responsibilities? So,
which is Dave Staples saying something he could have very easily just DM'd Rashog about and no one would have said anything.
So my question after all of that is, Edmonton, why
What
are
is in
you...
the freaking water? Sorry.
Edmonton, why are you the way that you are? Who gives you the right?
Gives you the right.
I don't get it, Edmonton media. Why are you so upset?
So I made a mistake.
And then, so how did you get involved with this?
So, what was it? Oh, someone who, oh my goodness, I forget your name and I'm sorry. They write for Habs Eyes on the Prize. They said to Rashog, well, most goalies don't talk on game day anyway. And Rashog responded, incorrect. So this was me falling into my own trap. I went, who, me? Wait, I know the answer to this. So I jumped in, having not even read Rashog's tweet.
Oh, God.
So I just said, I go, no, goalies do talk on game day. And I went through the list of guys I remember talking to. There's probably more, but like, I've talked to Freddie Anderson on a game day, James Reimer on a game day, Devin Dubnyk on a game day, Eunice Corpusalo. I've seen Alex Stalock get talked to on a game day, but it wasn't me talking to him. Luongo got talked to on a game day. Robin Leonard I spoke to on a game day. I didn't talk to Luongo. I would love to meet him. A bunch. Goalies talking game day. So I was merely jumping in to say that. And then people go, well, but the mental sensitivity thing. And I went, what mental? And then I read it and I went, oh, shit. And then I might have got a message from someone saying, hey, thanks for sticking up for me. And I was like, oh.
You didn't mean to really stick up for him.
And I was just like, yeah, no problem. I didn't know what to say.
Did you delete your tweet?
No.
Okay.
No, because I said it.
Yeah.
Well, and I didn't say anything that was wrong. I wasn't actually. What I said was goalies talking game day, which is true. And that was it.
God. Just watching you defend yourself is hilarious.
But I'm right. But I'm right. And then some douchebag was like, wow, what a great list of goalies. And I'm like, who the frig have you ever talked to? And he's like, oh, A-list celebrities. No, some guy from LA. Whatever.
I don't know why the media needs to get so worked up about a goalie not giving them a couple answers, which will be generic anyway.
I don't know where Toronto's, oh yeah, I'm doing this. I don't know where Toronto gets the reputation of being an impossible market to play in when this is what happens in Edmonton.
Thank you. Thank you.
These controversies are few and far between in Toronto. There was the big, FNUF ducked the media one time. But, I don't know. When things are going better, these stories get buried. No one talks about them.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau in the Sharks' only visit to Toronto got off the ice first before all the other Sharks and got the hell out of there.
Practice?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Got the hell out of there.
Didn't want to talk.
Didn't want to talk.
So
I watched them walk by me before I even had a chance to walk into the room, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not getting Thornton or Marleau, who I really wanted to talk to, but no one cared. I guess it's different for the home guys, but I mean, you know what? Okay. I understand them being upset. What I don't understand is saying something publicly. It doesn't need to be a thing, and it can't make your job that much harder. There's got to be another story there, man. There has to be. Al Montoya? Al Montoya?
Ryan Rashog's ratio on the tweet.
Oh, what's the final score?
Oh,
how bad? Okay, do the retweets and favorites first.
Okay. 46 retweets.
Hey, pretty good.
180 favorites.
Hey, excellent.
comments, replies,
Oh, no.
1.3K.
Oh!
1,300.
Oh!
1,300 replies.
What a ratio.
Oh, God. That's insane. Once again,
Man.
Ryan Rashad's tweet was, Al Montoya doesn't talk on game days. Needs to focus. Only Oiler who does this. Why should it be different for him? Only conclusion is that he's more fragile in his preparation. Or he's ducking responsibility with this silly loophole. Neither are great qualities for a goalie. But then he did clarify that a change of wording is required for my earlier tweet. The phrase fragile in preparation implies to some that it's an issue of mental health. This wasn't intended in that context in any way and was meant to comment on a goalie's game day preparation. But language is important, and I certainly apologize to any who were offended. And Ryan, we forgive you because you apologized.
We forgive you.
As the representative of Earth
Everyone.
and humankind, Jesse Blake, I say that we forgive you because when somebody apologizes and they are truly sorry, they deserve forgiveness.
See, that was an example of me retroactively finding out that someone was about to have a bad time. As soon as I saw the parent tweet, I was like, ooh. Oh, dear. You know who
This is an important lesson for you, by the way, to not just hop in.
Who, me? Well, this is the thing, because like I'm so rarely a reporter that whenever I have a chance to jump in with my experience, I go,
do?
excuse me, everybody, but I have spoken to half a dozen goalies in my career and would like to tell you about it. I once got a picture of Garrett Sparks holding his mask, like before completely torpedoing having his number. Like,
I hope you realize what you did.
Yeah.
It sounds like you realize.
I who mead.
You who mead.
I who mead.
You are no better than media in Edmonton.
Absolutely not. I should move there right now. OFRs.
OFRs.
Coming to a angry blog near
Do you
you.
have your headphones ready? Unless do you have anything more to say on that issue? Besides, don't jump in on
Not
Twitter.
particularly. You know what I was tweeting is, you know who in Toronto notoriously never spoke to the media, but it obviously wasn't because he was fragile. It was because he was sick, and what worked for him. That's Roy Halladay.
Yeah. It wasn't his thing to talk to the media.
Storm and Norm Rumack notoriously went on a rant about, like, the team is owned by Rogers. We're owned by friggin' Rogers. We can't get this guy on the show. What the hell? But at the end of the day, Cy Young's, he's pretty good.
Okay. I don't know if, I assume you haven't heard this.
I don't recognize this video.
There was a basketball game. I'm going to pull up the actual tweet. In Clearview. I don't know where Clearview is.
Me neither.
Let's look it up.
We're looking it up.
Clearview is, leave. Clearview
This is great.
City. Clearview, Kansas? Yeah.
That wouldn't have
Clearview
been my
City,
guess.
Kansas. So there's a basketball game. There's about like 6 people in
I
the
can't
crowd.
hear anything. Should I be hearing things?
No.
Okay.
Not yet. You should be hearing me talk if you have your headphones.
I don't.
Okay, turn off.
Oh, yes.
There you
Now
go.
I do.
Cool. The tweet says there's like 6 people in the stands. 11:30 a.m. Clearview basketball. Announcer is feeling it.
Oh, I think I have seen this.
Sophomore guard at 6'2", number 23,
Just put the microphone down. You don't need it. You don't
and
need it.
at 6'5", forward, sophomore, number 25, Justin
Is this guy the screamer for Alexis on Fire?
So
He could easily be an Alexis on Fire.
There's like 8 people at this high school basketball game, and this guy's going in for Justin McNichols.
Justin McNichols!
Can we go one more time?
Hey, like that's a high school student, right? It's got to be.
I assume not.
It's at a high school.
Yeah, but I don't think the guy is a high school student. What?
That's a grade 12. He's probably in grade 12.
Sophomore guard at 6'2",
Nah, that's a
number
grown-ass
23.
Listen to the clapping. There's like 3 people.
And at
Even his
6'5",
mom's like,
forward,
"Don't worry
sophomore,
about
number 25, Justin! The Pioneers are coached by
Anyways, I want to play that for you.
I love that they let him do that. No, you know what? I don't know how to properly put it into words, Jesse, but there's a certain dorkiness about the way he says things that makes me go high school student.
Okay.
Because I still sound that way, but I also used to as well. And he's just trying to, I mean, if you get on the microphone for a living, there's a certain little part of you, who wants to just be approved and loved. And dude, I did the morning announcements for my high school in grade 12.
Steve.
And I probably sounded just as ridiculous as he did. I did Elmo impressions
Steve.
on the microphone, and you couldn't understand what I was saying at all.
I feel like this is the attitude you go in with every time you record an LFR.
What?
Who, me?
Who, me?
There's a camera in front of me?
Wait till everyone gets a load of what I think of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thank goodness. Otherwise, there would be no Toronto Maple Leafs takes in the entire world. Or on YouTube even. Like, there's a bunch of, like, Leafs YouTubers now.
Because you invented it, Steve.
No, I did not.
No, you did.
It still pisses me off when I see people tweet, like, hey, man, I was thinking about doing, like, something like what you do, but for, like, the stars. Just do it.
No, you invented
I'm not, you don't.
No.
I'm not the Fine Brothers. I'm not going to
No.
friggin' take your money because you decided to talk about
Steve.
sports.
Steve, you should patent reaction videos. I should. It's a good idea. It went well for the other guys who did it.
It's certainly a fine idea.
Last thing on the show.
Yes.
2 things, actually. 1, name tags 88. Name tags, shout out name tags for being a hardcore listener. She writes, on a scale of 1 to trying to get a pregame quote from Al Montoya in Edmonton, how difficult is it to work on your book, Steve?
Extraordinarily.
Ryan
God, it's
Rashad
hard.
level?
It is, Ryan Rashad ratio level. Difficult to, I should really work on it tomorrow. You know what's been good though about, I can tell I'm about to have like a really good burst of writing because there's too many stories in my head. And there's a bunch, like I have a master story list, like stuff that I need to write. And there's a few really, really important ones that I remembered like this past week.
Oh, wow.
Where I was like, oh shit.
I thought should probably be in this book.
I was gonna leave that out. Oh my god, what an idiot. So
Yeah. So Steve's writing a book for anybody who doesn't know.
shut up.
It's due to come out. It's due to come out this spring.
No, it's due this
It's
spring.
due
It's due
this
to
spring.
come out
Next September.
next
Next fall.
yeah.
Next fall.
Christmas.
In time for all the Christmas gifts under
Yeah.
your Christmas tree and your stocking.
Or give it to the person that you turkey dump. Like hopefully it'll be out by that time. You know what? To replace, in order to make up for not having me in your life anymore, here's a book about a person who makes YouTube things. Here's this.
So it's due April,
It's due in April. I've been told it's not like a hard due.
but like you need a hard due.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's gonna be done by April.
It will.
Okay.
It will. Hey, man, I've been in school.
I know how essays work.
I'm at least a third of the way done something that's not due for another 2 months. That's more than I could say for my high school or university career. So I'm confident.
Okay.
I'm not worried.
Okay.
I'm a little bit worried. I'll be fine.
How many chapters are you in?
Well, it's not about chapters.
No.
It's about words.
So
So
how many words are you in?
I think 30 or 35.
1,000.
Yes.
And you got to reach.
At least 75.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, my deal says literally 75 to 90.
That's not bad. You'll get there. Yeah.
I bet by the end of it, I'll be closer to 90. That's just how
I think
it
you'll
works.
have to cut down. That's how it always works with everything.
Yeah.
Oh, except for some essays where you're like, I'm going to triple space this because
Yeah.
I got to reach 2 pages.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I don't think essay writing is good for you. I don't think it's good for your
disagree.
development as a writer.
No, I disagree. It teaches you structure and form, and it makes you think critically. Like I
suppose.
Yeah, the concept.
Yeah, you're right.
The concept of the way you lay out arguments in an essay is very productive for how you want to write something.
Okay, so maybe I'll say this instead. I think
Sorry, I just kind of.
No, you're right.
I love essays.
No, you're right. You're right. I just hated doing them. And there were some where I was like, why am I even writing? I wrote an essay on Woodrow Wilson for an elective I took in university. I forget so much about Woodrow Wilson. I remember more about Woodrow Wilson that I learned from Dan Carlin's podcast than I did from researching that essay. Which, by the way, I researched at U of T Scarborough instead of Ryerson because U of T Scarborough was right up the street from my house, and my future wife went there. Did you just Google Woodrow Wilson?
No, because I was like, I know that name. It's from The Simpsons. Oh my God. What's The Simpsons reference to Woodrow Wilson? Do you remember when?
It's also from the President of the United States from World War I in real life.
Do you remember when Bart was Mrs. Krabappel's secret lover?
Yeah.
So this actually has to do with hockey.
Yeah, Gordie Howe. I remember that.
And his name was Woodrow because they took it from the president. And then when Bart broke up with Mrs. Krabappel, because he was her pen pal, he taped a picture of Gordie Howe to the letter, and he said, "Sincerely, all my love, Woodrow," and picture of Gordie Howe.
And Mrs. Krabappel was
She bought
miserable.
it, and she cried. Anyways,
That's so sad.
so when you said Woodrow Wilson, I completely
That was the first thing you thought
I
of?
stopped listening, and I went to this.
So I guess my Woodrow Wilson knowledge is the highest in this room. So that's good.
Yeah, I barely knew he was the president until you just said that.
So anyway, essay writing is worthwhile, but you should complement learning that with like other types of writing as well.
Last thing. No, 2 things. I said 2 things before, so it was actually 3 things. Now we're on 2 things.
I believe you.
Stephen, you are terrible at promoting yourself. So
I know.
So I'm going to do it for you. On February 2nd, 2018 at 1:16 p.m., Puck Talks Live tweeted, "We're excited for February 15th. Hashtag Puck Talks 2." They wrote 200. I think they meant TWO. We're excited for February 15th. Puck Talks 2. Oh, no, it was a reply. I'm screwing this up. We're excited for it,
Good
too,
job.
to the person they're talking to. Steve Dangle, get your tickets today. So, you're going to be appearing at Puck Talks, which is a live event where people get together and talk hockey.
Yeah, make sure you get there on time. 'Cause I don't know when I'm up, but I'm almost always first
Get
because I'm not good enough for last.
get there on time to what, Steve?
to see me. Hey, look, I'm on their pin tweet.
So
That's pretty cool. Wearing
on-
my green shirt.
on February 15th, you can purchase tickets to see you at what venue?
It's at Rivoli again, isn't it?
At the Rivoli.
The Rivoli.
I'm asking you
I
a
usually
question.
check day of. I'm an idiot.
If you hit up at Puck Talks Live on Twitter, their first tweet there is a tweet to a link where you can where you can click and it'll take you to a tickettailor.com page where you'll find a $25 admission ticket that you will click quantity 1 or 2 or how many friends you got, and then you will click buy.
God,
That day-
that's a good lineup, especially if you want to talk Leafs. My God.
That day, February 15th, 7 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. at the Rivoli, you will see the following people talk hockey for a couple hours.
Hey, I'm not on that list.
You should tell them about this.
No wonder I thought the list looked so good. I'm not on it.
Scott Wheeler, Mike in Buffalo, who's been on this podcast,
My Jello.
Justin Bourne, Tyler Dello, Christine Shilton, James Myrtle, and Chris Johnston, and Steve Dangle.
That's interesting. I wonder how they're going to arrange that.
We'll all be talking hockey. It'll be hosted by D. Emmanuel.
Yeah, Danielle Emmanuel. She's the Leafs in Arena host.
D-E-E.
Well, her real name's Danielle.
Nope.
Okay,
Her name is D.
just D.
Anyways, so yeah, go get that. Our good friend Steve Dangle, who hosts this podcast and is sitting right next to me and who I'm talking to through you, will be there. They have been using you heavily to promote their show.
Geez, I'm just noticing this. Are you? Wait, here, read that one. Yeah, this one. No, this one right here.
Is it? You're there. They just forgot you.
Oh, that is interesting. Okay,
They
no,
just forgot
because
you on the ticket site.
the reason I was concerned is because it's almost the exact same lineup as another show we've done before. So I was like, oh wait, is that an old one? Nope, that's just what it is. No, yeah, that's a good lineup. That's a good lineup. I the last time I did it with that lineup, it was a 4-person panel of me, Mike Augello, Scott Wheeler, and Kristen Chilton.
That's a good lineup.
It's a well balanced, right? We got a variety of experiences.
Unfortunately, you are not in their header, but that's okay.
Well, no, their header there. So I'll tell you what that's a picture of, actually. So it's Tara Sloan hosting Chris Johnston, beardless Chris Johnston, John Shannon, and Mike Zeisberger. Now, I'm pretty sure that's from the day Taylor Hall was traded, Subban was traded, and Stamkos was re-signed. There was a puck talk that night.
They got lucky.
It was chaos, absolute chaos. And the people who run puck talks were like, yeah, buddy. They were pretty happy about it.
Head over to homestandsports.com for more info on Puck Talks and their series of talks on sports in Toronto. Mm-hmm. Free
Also-
promo, Puck Talks. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Also, merch.
Merch for us.
Yeah, for us. We never promote it on the show.
That's still up?
What do you mean is that still up? Oh, I have it to auto renew.
Oh, shit. Okay. Let's do this then.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
I have no idea where this merch exists, which is a shame because I am one member of this podcast. So I am a listener who has no idea. Explain.
Well, Jesse, as I stall while I open one of my previous videos so that I can see where to get the link, teespring.com/EN-GB. No, okay. Click the link, Steve. Click the link. Here we go. I'm sure there's a shorter link, but because I'm brutal at this,
Oh my God.
it's loading right now. Please load. Please clap. Please clap faster. It's not loading, Jesse.
All right.
There it is. So you found it.
I got it.
Good.
Got it. So, teespring.com, teespring.com. Steve's playing himself from his phone. /EN-GB/stores, STORES/fancy dangle shirts.
That's what
That's
it is.
the URL. And if you type that into your browser, you will end up on the Steve Dangle store. And you'll see a whole bunch of Dangle Jinx and LFR 10 t-shirts and Good Plur shirts.
Good plur.
And sweaters and
Mugs.
hoodies and mugs, stickers.
There's a tote bag,
tote bag.
tank top,
So we never do this. So like,
Suns Out, Guns Out. No, we never do. And
Yeah.
I've been looking at some other YouTubers recently and just going, like, there's some very basic things. You know what I only started doing a few years ago? Telling people to subscribe at the end of my videos.
yeah.
I've been doing that for less than half the time that I do my
And
videos.
you were telling me this, and you were like, it worked.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and the instant I started doing it, people were like, "Oh, okay." Like,
I should do that.
oh, you know who's another YouTuber who I'm huge into? ProZD.
I don't know who that is.
He does, like, it's mostly Vines. Like, most of his videos are less than 30 seconds long, but he does one called, like, Every YouTube Channel, and he's watching going, man, I really love this YouTuber. I wish there was a way I could get a notification every time they post something. I just wish there was a way I could help, a way I could do something about this, but there isn't. Fuck. Be sure to click like and subscribe. Whoa! It's such a, I mean, he does a better job of it. But no, the second I started doing that, like, it's so stupid, but it works.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I figured rather than just simply putting the merch link underneath every video without telling anybody about it anyway, because who the hell clicks on the description anymore these days? Yeah, it's there. We should probably add it to our own description, which we never do.
I did it once. I don't know. I guess I took it off because for a long time, or like over Christmas when we first started, it was in there. Like I throw from.
Yeah, no one buys things around Christmas. You're right.
No, it was in there, and then I think in January I took it off because I thought it was done or something. But yeah, I'll put it back.
No, it auto renews. It used to be stupid and frustrating like that. But no, it just auto renews.
Cool. I'll put that in. Final thing. What'd you think of the show?
It's interesting. There's a lot of me.
Yeah, I think that was my goal.
Too much?
No.
No.
Sometimes we forget the title of the show.
Wow.
And it's important that we remind ourselves every now and again why we are all here. We are here to see you.
I think we found the title. Who, me? Gotta be that. Got it.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.